I did not pay my mortgage for over a year. That's correct. Not one penny for a year. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shirria. This is the Shirria Mac channel, and on this channel I am documenting everything getting out of debt and building wealth. I share budget videos, cash envelope stuffings, and a little bit of financial information that I found to be applicable to my life, and I don't mind sharing it with you guys. If that's something you're interested in, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do post videos every Wednesday, sometimes Sunday, but definitely every Wednesday. Today I am sharing exactly how I was able to keep my home although I did not pay my mortgage for over a year. If that's something you are interested in hearing all about, please grab you a treat, some coffee, something, because this is a long story. It's not that long, but there are a lot of details, and it occurs from over about 2 to 3 years. I will not go into every single detail in those 2 to 3 years, but I will be jumping right into how I was not able to pay my mortgage for over a year, and how I still live in my home and never got foreclosed on, not even threatened. So if that is something you are interested in, please stay tuned. All right, so I do have a couple of notes here. I just want to share a few details. If you hear something in the background, my dog Charlie is spending the morning with me. Let me see if I can get him in here. Say hey, Charlie. Anyhow, so let's jump right into it. I did not pay my mortgage for over a year. I bought my home in 2011, October 2011. I had gotten a job in 2012 that I got paid every other week, and so I had set my payments up to pay my mortgage every other week. The reason that is important is because I feel like that payment history is what contributed to my grace for that time that I did not pay my mortgage for over a year. But that is not a fact. I have never worked in the housing financial market, so I don't exactly know what saved me from getting foreclosed on. And so just a quick timeline during this story time. So starting back in 2012, I was working a government job for my local Department of Social Services, where I got paid monthly. I left that job shortly after I got my MSW and went into private mental health as an associate licensed clinical social worker. That was almost a $15,000 pay increase, and like I said, I did get paid every other week from that job, and I set my payments up from monthly to every other week. So from 2012 to about 2013, I was working private mental health, and then I got a job as a school social worker because the private mental health job was so flexible. So during that time, from 2013, from about November 2012, to about November 2012 to about June 2013, I was working both of the jobs, and I was making about $8,000 a month between the two jobs. You would think that is a lot of money, and for me it was a lot of money, where I had gone from making barely $2,000 as a social worker to almost, quadrupling my take-home pay to about $7,000. But I was financially irresponsible, and although I did pay my mortgage I did pay my mortgage through those summer months because I knew I wasn't going to be working, and the school social worker job position was the permanent or stable income. After, like, I had no savings, I didn't have anything, and I wasn't able to maintain after that. I would like to add that when my son was born in 2012, he decided to stay home and be a stay-at-home dad because his job was not worth the time he was missing, because he worked swing shifts and it was hard for him and the family to adjust to that. So he stayed home and he was a stay-at-home dad, and my income still doubled what we both bought home, both being employed full-time with one job. So stop, what is wrong with you? And so 2012 he was unemployed. 2013 it was a hard adjustment. So that was the end of 2012. Early 2013 we were adjusting to being new parents, and we were not seeing eye to eye. And I recommended that he take a trip, get some time to himself and leave me and the kids alone. So he went to New York. He also had a grandmother who was on hospice. So he went to New York and to see his grandmother and spend the weekend. Actually, he was supposed to spend the week, but there was a tragic turn of events where he was pulled over in a neighborhood, in his grandmother's neighborhood, by a cop who was known by the people in the neighborhood for harassing African Americans. He was sitting in his rental car. The cop technically pulled him over, although he was sitting in his car in front of the yard, and asked to search his car because the officer assumed that my husband was drug dealing because it was a rental car, out of state tags, blah blah blah. My husband did have a registered gun. He actually had his concealed weapons license, but the gun was legal in the state of North Carolina, and they are absolutely illegal in the state of New York. My husband agreed to let the officer search his car because he did not think he was doing anything wrong. And of course, the officer found the gun, and my husband was arrested. So that was June 2013, around that time, early summer 2013, we had to hire an attorney. That was, the attorney was $5,000. All we really paid him for was to represent my husband, because what we later found out is that a gun charge is an automatic 8 months. So it's not like the attorney was getting my husband off or getting him from having to do the 8 months, but what he did do was get him like over a year of continuances so that my husband could spend more time with the family, and hopefully we could get our ish together. Unfortunately, we did not. So like I said, he did buy my husband about a year's worth of time. My husband did eventually find a job through a temp agency about May of 2014, and he ended up getting sentenced and sent to Rikers Island in New York to serve his 8-month sentence, which is considered a year, in September of 2014. In June of 2013, I lost both of those jobs, the school social worker job and the private mental health job. Like I said, because I had paid my mortgage throughout until August, really all of my bills until August, because I knew I was not going to get paid over the summer from my school social worker job. I had paid all the bills up until August, and in August we didn't have any income, and for some reason I didn't qualify for unemployment, or maybe I did. I think I did get unemployment, but surely it was not enough to, maintain all of the bills. And then my husband was also getting unemployment, and so we were able to pay the mortgage. But come August, so I want to say about June So when I got laid off in June, although I had paid the mortgage until August, I did let Wells Fargo know, who has my mortgage, that I was not working. And so they put my mortgage on trial payments. And so I had to pay $25 for 3 months. I had to walk the $25 into a bank location to pay, and that was what my mortgage was going to be for the 3 months. So August, September, and October. So that bought me the 3 months. And I think it was in hopes that I was going to get another job, because I did actually have a career as a social worker. It wasn't like I was just looking for, I was looking for more employment. Anyhow, so then after September, and so in April 2014, I did get a temporary job, but it was nowhere near the income I was making. Was it enough money to pay my mortgage? Absolutely. But I was just I didn't have a budget, and I was responsible. Like, I paid my bills, but then I didn't pay my mortgage. I don't really know. I don't have an explanation as to what was going through my mind at that time, because I was making enough money to have paid the mortgage. But I think just because we were having a hard time getting back on track, and we were still paying the attorney, thinking that the attorney was going to be able to get him from having to do the 8 months in New York. So anyhow, he ended up getting sentenced in September of 2014. I got hired permanently at the job I work now in September of 2014. And then, just when we were starting to get back on track and get adjusted to both of us being back employed and getting back in a rhythm, his income was gone. So, it was just my income. It was about, I don't know, maybe $2,000 a month. But mind you, my mortgage was $1,000. At the time, I had 2 cars. They were about $2,000. So if you do the math, $1,000 mortgage, $2,000 car, 2 cars that are worth $1,000, lights, groceries, and 4 kids as a single parent, something was not getting paid, and it was the mortgage. So it just so happened that my loan kept getting handed over and with Wells Fargo agents. So from June, when I first reached out to them, it was handed over to somebody. That plan was put into place to pay the $25. This is not food. It's a pen. See? It's not food. So in June of 2014, when I first reached out to them and told them I wasn't able to pay my mortgage, that representative put me on that plan to pay the $25. And then it was handed over to somebody else, and then it was handed over to somebody else, and I would keep getting these emails like, "Hi, I am such and such and such. Your loan your case has been handed over to me. Your previous representative such and such has moved on or left or whatever." So that was the second thing I think that brought me grace, is that it kept getting handed over. So from June, stop, Charlie. So from June 2014 to December 2014. So come January 2015, my loan was handed over to a representative. I don't remember her name, but I do remember it was a female. And she was like, "Hey, my name is such and such and such. I am your new representative, and I'm going to get this together." So she decided to put my loan on, she decided to modify my loan. And so what happened was, all of my unpaid mortgage payments, which totaled $9,316 at that time in January, $9,316 and I believe 36 cents was absorbed into a new loan and stretched over a new 30-year period. So February, I had to send my current income and my new expenses, and based on that, the $9,000 was absorbed into a new loan, and my payment was more than what my payment was when I bought the house, by about $100. But I was at the 5-year point where my PMI would be forgiven or taken off. So that was taken off, which was $125 previously. So the PMI had came off the mortgage, but the payment was still high. So my payment ended up being $923.13. And the loan was spread over a new 30-year period. So where my mortgage would have originally been paid off in October of 2041, it was now going to be paid off in December 2045. And so I shared all of this before I get into that part, I still live in that same home. My home was never foreclosed on. Wells Fargo was very willing to work with me. I never for a moment worried about losing my home, because I always knew me and my kids would not be homeless in the sense of being out on the streets homeless. But there is no but. I never worried. I continued to pray that things just keep working out. Lord, just keep granting me grace. Lord, just please help me out. In the midst of all of this, I will say I did speak with several financial counselors who helped me kind of get in the sense of budgeting my money, and I did start to seek financial literacy. Just because of all the responsibility I started to realize I had, like, mortgage is just in my name only. The cars, they are in my name only. I had about 14 credit cards that I was just paying the minimums on. When I did get those trial payments, that was to make sure I could pay them, because I still was developing my budget and developing my financial literacy. So I got those trial payments. So for my loan to be modified to the $913, I had to make 3 trial payments. March, April, May. I could not make them in one lump sum, so I couldn't pay like the $3,000 for the 3 payments at one time. I had to pay them each every month on time before the terms of the loan modification could be fully accepted. So I still was not fully aware of how to budget my money. So what I did was I took out a 401k loan for a financial hardship for $2,500 to cover those 2 payments, just because I felt like by the time the 3rd payment was due, my budget, I should be better able to budget. And then my income tax refund came, as well as my husband's. So I made those 3 payments, and then I saved the rest, other than buying groceries and a flight to Puerto Rico. That just goes to show a little how irresponsible I was. In September of 2015 is really when I got my together and got on a budget, had sought all this financial literacy, had developed a budget, had started my snowball. I started a blog. I started YouTube to track my journey, and they were going pretty good. Some of those videos are still on my channel. I think most of those videos are still on my channel if you ever want to go back and watch any of them. I wanted to share this story with you guys because now is a very trying and difficult time. And one of the quotes that got me through that difficult time of me being a single parent, not knowing how to budget my money, not being able to pay for the roof over my children's head, and really just living day by day. I literally had to take each day at a time. I think, well, I know for a fact that prayer got me through that. And there was this quote that I heard Steve Harvey say, and he said, when you're going through hell, just keep going. Why stop in hell? And so looking back now, I know in that moment I thought like I was literally going through hell, but looking back now, no, it was still a very difficult time, but it wasn't, I was able to come through it, and you don't see that when you're going through it. And so I wanted to share this story with any of my watchers, subscribers, followers, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are going through what is considered their hell at this moment. It's the trying time. People have lost jobs. People are unemployed with no income. The only positive is looking like this stimulus check that you don't know when it's coming. And, this is just a difficult time. And I just wanted to offer hope because I was able to come through it. It's not comparable to a time like this because I was still employed and I was just not financially responsible. But I still was not paying the most important bill. And people will say, well, that was just you being stupid. And that is your opinion and you are entitled to it. And I really do agree. That was just me being stupid. But at the time, it was important that, to me, I think part of my mindset was I needed to make sure I had my car. So even if I paid one car payment, my car payment at the time was $414. I needed to make sure I kept that paid because I don't think they were going to grant me a year if I stopped paying that, and I needed that to keep a job, and my kids needed to eat. So those were my two, and I needed the lights. Those were my three priorities. Why did that consume $2,000 of my income? I'm not sure, but that was just me being stupid. Anyhow, I just wanted to offer this wild story of hope just to let you guys know that I did come through that period. And this time is difficult for a lot of people, and I just want you guys to just keep going. I just want you guys to not lose hope and remember that this is just a moment in your life and you will get through it. I got through it, and I'm sure there are other people who have gone through something similar and they have come out on the other side. So thank you so very much. If you have watched this far of my confusing, and I caught myself taking notes and creating a whole timeline, but it was still all over the place. If you watched to the end, thank you so very much. I do not have any shout outs today because I really just wanted this message to be about providing hope and encouragement to just keep going. When you're going through hell, keep going, because who wants to stop and sit in hell? Thank you so very much for watching this video. If you are interested in following my journey to building wealth and getting out of debt, please subscribe if you have not already. If you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, please do not hesitate to ask me. I share everything. If it's something that you do not want everybody else to see, my email is linked down in the description box. You can reach out to me. Do not give up. Keep going. Just keep going. Just keep swimming. Thank you so very much for watching me and my dog Charlie, who is somewhere. Y'all have a good day.